What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It is for Sunday. It is April 21st, and we are back with another video for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. A lot of new subscribers in the past, basically week, but in the past couple of months, massive amount, which is awesome. Thank you so much for your support. If you find this video helpful, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, because towards the end of the videos, we usually put in, give you some bets or like look at some odds that look weird to us, like we want to jump on them. And the quicker you see the video and the quicker you see that part, the better chances your odds will be. So if you've never been here before, we're going to go through every single game. We're going to look at all of the pitchers. We're going to look at the bats that make sense in those games. We're going to do it all. At the end of the video, we will give you our top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. We do 20,000 simulations a day, and it's usually the 20th, 1,000th simulation. They will be updated on the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, under the MLB simulation models. So those will be there as well. So what we do is we run 10,000 for pitchers and batters, and then we do 20,000 for both later on in the day. We have giveaways every single day. 2 ways to win every single video. First way, like the video, be a subscriber, and just leave a comment. If the video gets at least 50 likes, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. If we get at least 100 likes on the video, you have a chance to win a free month. 150 likes on a video is a chance to win a $200 free yearly pass. And 200 or more likes on any of our videos, a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass. The second way to do that, like the video, be a subscriber, and tell me who's going to hit a home run and what inning they're going to hit it in. If you get both the inning and the player correct, take a screenshot and send an email to me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1@gmail.com, and we will set you up for a free week. If you don't have an account on the site, let me know a username and email you would like to use. If you have one, let me know. So we're going to have our giveaway right now for yesterday's video. Over 1,000 views on the video. Got the likes that we needed on the video, so this will be the winner. And you can win every single day unless it's a lifetime pass. If it's a lifetime pass, obviously you can't win another lifetime pass. But what I'm going to do is we're going to see the winner from yesterday's video, and then we're going to jump into everything right now. So let's get going. The winner is Terry Simonson 2528 with the comment, "Let's go." Yes, Terry, let's go. You are the winner. Email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, with a username and email you would like on the site, and we will get your account set up right now for you. Don't forget, if you want to sign up, you can go to FTA Plus, which is FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. FTA Plus right here. You can sign up for a month, a year, or a lifetime. I think I'm going to bring back our weekly pass. Our weekly pass will get you a week worth to give your feet wet. And if you're interested in it, you can then upgrade up to past a week. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on some other things. I do believe we've back tested it. We've looked at everything. And what we're going to do is we are going to give you, we're going to run lineup simulations, and we're going to post those. They'll be part of FTA Plus under the MLB tab. We're going to run those and post them. We'll do a first run in the morning, and then we'll do a second run a couple hours before lineup lock. I will be out Tuesday around lineup lock, so we probably won't have it that day, but we'll try to get them early for you as well. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we got a full set of games. We've got, I'm just trying to see if there's any weather concerns. A lot of cloudy games right now. Again, weather can change. It is a Sunday, so be very careful. Sundays are the day that catchers usually rest. So if you're building some sort of stack, be careful. You might see a backup catcher, which would bring you value. One of the catchers we suggested Friday night was Travis d'Arnaud against a lefty. He only went out and hit 3 home runs. Loved Alec Boehm as well. He had 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Like, our picks have been pretty damn good. You can ask people. If you guys have been helping, we have a Discord link in the description. Also, we have the article, which is This article right here is in the description of this video. You can go check out the pitchers we like and some of the batters at each position for a little more context on what we're going to cover. That being said, we're going to jump into it. It is Sunday, so obviously the last game of the day is not on the slate. It's a single game, and we no longer have to compete with this stupid Peacock game at like 11 a.m. on the Sunday. I think that's done, so we're pretty good about that. So, looking at the first game, Astros at the Nationals. You got Christian Javier versus Mitchell Parker. We're not going to get cute with it. We're looking at Javier, 39 plate appearances, .081 against them. Washington's a bad team. They've been putting up a couple of runs, but I'm fully expecting to stack the Astros. I'm fully expecting to take Christian Javier as one of my top picks. Astros bats that make sense. Altuve obviously makes sense. Jordan and Kyle Tucker both hit lefties well. Being lefty on lefty, that doesn't matter. Cheaper options would be Jeremy Pena there. A little bit of Jose Abreu. I'm probably not on him though. You've got Mauricio Dubon if he's in there. You got Jake Myers if he's in there. Chas McCormick. It really just depends on the outfield that's there, but I want to take the Astros righties and Kyle Tucker and Jordan against any lefty. And we actually have updated the updated the batter split. So give me a second. I'm going to show you what those batter splits are just to give you an idea. So just for an instant, like this is what we're talking about. So let's say, and you can use this on the sites, on the website. So we're looking at lefties. You think that the Astros are going to hit well against a lefty. You want to go batter split. You want to come down to the bottom, split it to left, and then go to team. And then you can go out to Houston. And we've got the batters against lefties here. So you can kind of see Kyle Tucker, 38 plate appearances. You got Jordan, 35 plate appearances. You've got a 486 OBP, a 419 bat. So Jordan against the lefty this season so far, 419 batting average. Okay, Kyle Tucker's batting 355, 474 OBP. You can see basically the same slugging percentage, and the OPS is off the charts. So for whatever reason, they hit lefties well. That is another tool you can use. We've updated it now to show 2024 stats. So we're very excited to bring that back. That'll be updated. Hopefully we're able to update that every single day. It just really depends on when the stats come out and we're able to update those. So this is another tool in the tool belt to use that you might not be thinking about, because the majority of people are going to be like, oh, the righties against lefties. But Jordan and Tucker murder in their career, murder lefties. This year is no exception. They're getting the plate appearances. They're getting on base. Their averages are absolutely bonkers. So just another tool to use. Go through if you have time to build your lineups. Now, we do take into consideration with our simulations, stuff like that. We take into consideration this, but I know some of you guys like to do the work yourself, which is completely fine. So that is another tool you can use to unlock that tool belt to hopefully succeed and absolutely dominate all of the competition this year. So I'm all in on Javier. I'm all in on the Astros. I love Jordan and Tucker. They are expensive, but they should be in store for a great game against Mitchell Parker. Red Sox at the Pirates. You got to be announced versus Martin Perez. Now, Martin Perez facing one of his old teams, but it does appear it's going to be Josh Winkowski. I think the K is silent. I'm not 100% sure. But he's the likely candidate to start this game. We look at this game log wise. I mean, 1 inning. He's starting the game. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. Obviously, the most he's gone is 2.2 innings. You wouldn't be starting this. He is a righty. You could be looking at some Pirates bats. I don't know. I'm running the simulations right now. None of these bats really jump out to me on that side. And then Martin Perez has been. He comes in with 2.55 ERA, 16 Ks, going into games, 5 innings plus, a couple of earned runs. Strikeouts have been weird. They've been very inconsistent. 2 the first game, 6, 7, and then 1 against the Mets. Boston, they're still hitting. I don't know if I trust Martin Perez enough. In tournaments, I'm okay with it, because in tournaments you want to pretty much go balls to the wall, different directions. But the bats that I would use or even think about using, that's where it gets a little interesting. So that's where we will look at Like if you were looking at these Boston bats here, you could be looking at Tristan Casas has been absolutely on fire. I would look at him. A cheap option at shortstop would be David Hamilton. Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu. Love Wilyer Abreu if he's towards the top of the lineup. Those would be the ones. Emmanuel Valdez. Like, you're looking at Baseball Savant, you want more red. Obviously, that means they're hitting the ball very, very well. That's kind of where I would look at. Different ways, if you're feeling about, you could go to a Reese. I pull my meat in the Blockbuster parking lot. McGuire, he would be a cheap catching option. You could look at him, or Connor Wong. Again, Reese and Wong, of course their names are that. Neither here nor there. It's Sunday. Catchers are going to sit. That could be a cheap, regardless if it's McGuire or Wong, it's going to be a cheap catching option if you are looking to stack Boston, which I'm completely okay with stacking Boston there. I understand that. Perez... I mean, in Pirates bats, really, it could be O'Neal Cruz, it could be McCutchen, Brian Reynolds, Sawinski, Ke'Bryan Hayes, like whoever's in this lineup. Again, Sundays they're going to rest. I don't mind them because it's basically just going to be a bullpen game for Boston, and that's pretty much the way it's going to go. White Sox at the Phillies, Nick Nastrini versus Aaron Nola. You guys know, if you've been with us, we stack the Phillies. Or not the Phillies, but we stack any team or any pitcher against this White Sox team. They've been shut out a ridiculous amount already. I am 100% on Aaron Nola. Career-wise, 52 plate appearances, 28.8 K percentage, 224 batting average. I'm in on Nola. I'm in on the Philly bats. Schwarber, Harper, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos. I'm in on a Philly stack here. Depending on the lineup that comes out, that's what I would look at. I don't want Nastrini. I don't want any Chicago White Sox bats. I'm all in on the Phillies. I'm all in on Aaron Nola. That's why he's the picture of this video, and that's why he's the picture of the article that corresponds with this said video. Then we got the Rays at the Yankees. We saw the Rays they're not the same Tampa Bay Rays that we're used to in the past few years, at least yet. They're not putting up a ton of runs. Their base running has been very suspect lately. They're running into outs at third base, which is weird because you don't do that. And you got Luis Gil here. So Savale, 56 plate appearances, 333 batting average. Gil, 2 plate appearances, 0 batting average. So not a ton of runs in the game on Saturday that I was in on a stack. So this is what I'll tell you. I'm not 100% right all the time. I am against my wife though, but not in this. I loved a Yankee stack. It really didn't do anything. We look at the Yankees bats that have had success. Judge has had 15 at-bats or 15 plate appearances. He's got 3 hits, including 2 doubles. He's batting like 160 right now. It's very low. Rizzo's 5 for 10 against him with 1 double and 2 home runs. Could be a cheap option. So Rizzo could be a cheaper option here. Some good numbers. Glaber just looks lost at the plate right now. 4 for 9 against Savale, though. Batting 444. Stan's 3 for 6. 2 of those 3 hits have been home runs. He did not play yesterday. He did pinch hit yesterday. Didn't do anything with that pinch hit, but he's been hitting the ball well lately. So, I mean, and Juan Soto is absolutely on fire. I don't care if he's 0 for 2 against him. He's absolutely on fire, hitting doubles and monster moonshot home runs. I'm completely okay with taking some of these Yankees bats here. Tampa Bay bats, honestly, against Gil, I don't think I want any. We could look. So if you just look at Savale, for tournaments, I guess you could look at Savale. He's 9,200 though. That's the problem. 9,200 has had really good games. 24.5 against Toronto, 23.9 against Texas, 16.3 against the Angels, 20.5 against the Angels again. Like, he's been successful. His price now has jumped up. In this stadium, tournament-wise, Savale I'm okay with. Cash, I would not pay 9,200 for Aaron Savale. Then you got Luis Gil. The problem with him, he's young. Had 7 walks against Toronto. That is a massive amount of walks. Now, the strike zone was not helping. It was a very wide strike zone, or very narrow strike zone. Some of those walks were, in fact, should have been strikeouts. So the numbers are a little bit skewed, and that's the difference. Like, if you were to just look at this, be like, oh, 7 walks, that's bad. I watched the game the strike zone was terrible. He's plus on top of that, he's got some filthy movement with a small strike zone and movement, and the batter's not chasing because the home plate umpire. That spelled disaster. Including, we do have umpire factors on the website MLB. The umpire factors will tell you if the home plate umpire is a pitcher's umpire or a batter's umpire. So just another tool for you. But Heel comes in at 7,900. Tampa Bay's not been hitting well. Outside of 7 walks, he still had 6 Ks. So he's had at least 6 Ks in all 3 starts. He's faced Toronto twice. He's faced Arizona once. He's faced good teams, good hitting teams. 7,900, I'm okay with at that price. That doesn't scare me at all. So Yankees bats and Luis Heel, I don't mind that at all. Angels at the Reds, Jose Soriano versus Frankie Montas. Soriano's only faced 2. Montas, 75 plate appearances, 20 K percentage with a 262 batting average. Has walked 8% of those batters though. So Soriano, I don't want anything to do with. 6,500, so his price has come up from the beginning because he did that little spot start at 4,000. We took him at 4,000, even against Baltimore, because that's a free square there. He was 4,000 for 2 starts. Then he had 4,400, which he gave up 4 earned runs against Tampa Bay. Then he jumped up to 6,000 against Tampa Bay again, and now he's 6,500 in Great American Small Park. I do not want that. Great American Small Park gives away some massive runs. Now, I will tell you, here's another tool we'll look at. So what we're seeing here is yesterday's, so this will be updated, but I just wanted to show you the Great American Small Park, or Great American Ballpark, whatever you want to call it. They've had 10 games here. These are not updated yet. There's been 99 runs. They ranked 3rd overall, giving up a run, so this ballpark gives up a ton of runs. 22 home runs, so it's ranked 7th overall, giving up an average of 2.4 home runs a game. So this is just another tool. You're looking at these ballparks. You're looking at these stats. Obviously, you'd like to see, 2 months worth of stats here, but we've got what we've got. Home run rating in this is 20.4. Slugging is ranked 4. So the ball just flies out of this ballpark. And this, under the MLB, this is the tool that shows up on the site, and then you can come down here and you can click the expand button and you can see everything. But under MLB, it's MLB ballpark stat ratings. So just yet again, another tool. Then you got, I wouldn't use Soriano. I would be definitely looking at the bats here for Cincinnati. Ellie De La Cruz, Spencer Steer, Benson. I would be looking at, depends. It honestly just depends. Let's get another batting page up. So Tyler Stevenson. I do like to use Tyler Stevenson against lefties, but I would still take him here. Ellie De La Cruz, Christian Encarnacio Strand, Will Benson, Spencer Steer. They have all been hitting the crap out of the ball. Another Cincinnati bat you could look at would be Nick Martini, which he would be cheaper. Candelario. I thought Candelario was hurt. Is he back now? Day-to-day. Did he come back and now he's day-to-day? Oh, so he's got maybe the stomach flu. Oh, he was never hurt, was he? No. Stomach flu, but if he's in, he's hitting the ball well. So that's one you could look at. But yeah, so stick with the dark red. Jake Fraley would be a cheaper option, but doesn't tickle my fancy as much as everyone up here top-wise. Bubba Thompson would be cheap. I don't know if he'll play. Probably be Nick Martini up for me here. And I don't know if I'll use Tyler Stevenson, but he's been pretty okay. Mostly against lefties, but I'm okay with using him as well. Then you got Montas. What to make of Mr. Frankie Montas? I don't know. 8,500, 4.34 ERA, 14 Ks. So we only came off 1 K against Seattle, 4 Ks against Milwaukee, 6 against both Philly and Washington to begin the season. He started off well, and then he's kind of gradually gotten worse. His worst outing came against Seattle, his last start. Now against the Angels, I could see the Angels getting to him. Trout has been looking like his old self. Taylor Ward is there. Logan O'Hoppe is there. Miguel Sano. Like, these are the bats you could look at. Matt Thaiss you could look at. Rendon would be a cheap option. Nolan Schanuel overall really hasn't done a ton. A lot of blue here, but he would be a cheaper option too. Mickey Moniak would be another cheap option, but if I'm focusing on just a few Angels, it'd be Sano, O'Hoppe, Taylor Ward, and Mike Trout in this Angels lineup. Then we jump to the next game, Athletics at the Guardians. So we've got Ross Stripling versus Tanner Bibby. Stripling, 52 plate appearances, 333 batting average. Tanner Bibby, 20 plate appearances, 333 as well. It's Oakland. Now, they have been hitting pretty good. But we look at Ross Stripling. Now, we did stack against Stripling his last start. Where's he at? Down here at 6,200. Game log-wise, gave up 3 earned runs against St. Louis, 2 walks, 4 Ks. So, I mean, he's going deep into games. 101 pitches there. He's going deep into games. But I would not trust him, especially against this Cleveland team. I'd be looking at stacking Cleveland. I'd be looking at Josh Naylor, who's been absolutely on fire this year. I would be looking at Bo Naylor. Jose Ramirez, obviously, love me some J-Ram there. Andres Jimenez, you could look at. Brian Rocchecchio, I'm not really sure how you say his name. He would be a cheaper option as well. So I'm off of Stripling. Bibby, I want to be on him because he's got a great matchup. I would love it if it were in Oakland, but again, we're in Cleveland. Second highest price pitcher on the slate. Comes in with a 4.82 ERA though, and against the White Sox, which should have been his easiest start. 4.1 innings, 5 earned runs. Against this Oakland team was his first start of the year, only 4.4. I don't think I want to pay $9,700 for him. Could he? In theory, yes, he could absolutely dominate the could and should dominate the Oakland team, but he just didn't last time. So I don't know. I'm probably off of him. I don't see me paying $9,700 for him. I'd rather stick to the bats in this one. Let's move on to the next game. Basically, it's a Cleveland stack there. I mean, I guess if you want to look at like Zach Eloff, Abraham Toro, Brown, like you could look at those, Estuary Ruiz, who's up there. You could look at them. I don't want Stripling, and I don't want to pay up for Bibby at all. Moving on to Baltimore versus the Royals. I don't know what the Royals are doing. I don't know why they're putting up runs. I don't know why they're so good. I don't know. But you got Cole Irvin versus Seth Lugo, who's been absolutely amazing this year. Irvin, 60 plate appearances, 246 batting average against the Royals. This is a pitcher's park. Kauffman Stadium is a pitcher's park. If you kind of just look at the ballpark, you got Kauffman there. They ranked 19th overall for runs, so you can see they're not putting up a ton of runs. So this obviously doesn't show all the stadiums. This is just the active stadiums for the day. Home runs, they rank 17th. They're only averaging 1.7 per game. So, I mean, it's a pitcher's park. Both of these pitchers have done well against each team. If we go into here, though, Seth Lugo, somehow he's only 8,400, comes in with a 105 ERA, 3-0 record. The problem, it's not striking out a ton. 4 strikeouts is basically where we're at. Going deep into games, 6.2 innings, like at least 6 innings every single game. Has not faced Baltimore this year. His price is up there, though. That is the problem, but it is a pitcher's park. But Baltimore's a good team, too. So, Cole Irvin, on the other hand, down here at 6,300. To be honest with you, really hasn't done much. 6.75 ERA against this Kansas City team that's been hitting. I'm probably looking at Lugo, and I'm probably looking Lugo for tournaments because he's just not striking out a ton. But I would look at the bats for Kansas City. I would look at Bobby Witt. I would look at Sal Perez. Vinny Pasquantino hit us a home run on Friday night. MJ Melendez would be a cheap option. Michael Garcia would be a cheap option. Velasquez is another cheap option too. So I think a Kansas City stack here against Irvin and Seth Lugo, I'm okay with. I don't think I would stack Lugo and the bats. Lugo would be one of those one-offs because, again, Would love to see more strikeouts out of him than 3 or 4 a game. Moving on to the Tigers at the Twins, you got Casey Mize versus Louis Varland. So we look at Casey Mize. Right here, 6,600. Depending on what he brings to the table, coming off his best start in a couple of years, actually. 6 innings against Texas, 2 earned runs on Tuesday, 6 Ks against a really good hitting team. Now he's going up against Minnesota. Career-wise, 42 plate appearances, 176. He's actually had success against them. It's in Minnesota. So splits-wise, like later on down the road, we really take into effect like home and away. But you basically need like half a season. You need the All-Star break to really feel comfortable about looking at home and away splits. But just kind of looking at this, Mize at his price of 6,600, I don't mind that. And we talked about yesterday's video. So with baseball, you're looking basically for 2.5 to 3 times value, meaning your pitcher at 6,000 would need 12.5 or would need 13 to 15 range. And I mean, that's what he could bring to the table. So I don't mind Casey Mize here against Minnesota. And then Varland, on the other hand, 6,400, hasn't done much. 8.36 ERA. I would still look at Detroit bats here. So if we're looking at some Detroit bats, that makes some sense. Depends if he's in there, though. What was that? No, what was that? What is going on? Look at these Detroit bats. Matt Vierling, a lot of red. Carson Kelly, again, catcher. It's either him or Jake Rogers. Depends on who sits. Kerry Carpenter has a ton of red. Riley Green. Torkelson, you could look at. Very cheap would be Winseal Perez. Probably wouldn't use him. But I'd use Vierling, some sort of combination of Vierling, Kelly / Rogers, depending. McKinstry a little bit. I do like Mark Canha. I love him more against lefties, but he's there. Kerry Carpenter would, I think, if you are taking a Tiger stack, I think Carpenter has to be in every single one of them. Same with kind of Riley Green along the same lens. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'd rather take Casey Mize and the Tigers stack than Varland or any Minnesota bats right now. Now, I might be wrong. We'll see what 10,000 simulations say, because let's see if the simulations are done. So we're going to switch it up. We're going to put the simulations now. They are done. So we're going to do simulations and some of our favorite bets in the middle here. See if you guys are still watching. Maybe you like it. It's going to be a little pop quiz dose is what they are. So through 10,000 simulations, these are the initial numbers. So right now, number 1, Mookie Betts. Number 2, Ronald Acuna Jr. Number 3, J.P. Crawford. Number 4, Mitch Haniger. 5 is Justin Turner. 6 is Mitch Garver. 7 is Mike Trout. 8 is Mitch Haniger. 9 is Brandon Nimmo. 10, Pete Alonso. 11 is Vlad Guerrero Jr. 12 is Dalton Varsho. 13, Yordan Alvarez. 14, Richie Palacios. 15, Matt Olson. 16, Francisco Alvarez. No, sorry. He just got put on the IL. Marcell Ozuna against in that one. Followed by Lars Nootbaar, Bo Naylor, Adley Rutschman, and Shohei Ohtani. Now, looking at those, obviously the first initial ones love Seattle because they're playing in Colorado. They've got a bunch of Toronto bats too. So we got Seattle and Toronto. We've got a couple of Houston bats. We've got our Atlanta bats, of course, and our Dodgers bats, of course, there. So those are the projections after 10,000 simulations. At the end of this video, we'll do our player props as well. So let's get back into it. So looking at the next game, Milwaukee at St. Louis Cardinals. Colin Ray versus Sonny Gray on this dreary, dreary day. Stats-wise, like they haven't had success against each other team, but we can dig into what they're doing now. So Colin Ray, 7,000, going up against the Cardinals, 2.70 ERA, 5.2 innings, or 5 innings is what he's looking at. Been pretty decent. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with that. I think people will be on the Cardinals more. I think Colin Ray could be your kind of pivot off of there, and I think that would be okay. Sonny Gray, on the other hand, started the season on the IL, coming in. He is 9,500, not giving up an earned run yet. 2 starts, no earned runs. 1 was against Oakland, so we'll give him okay. Then St. Louis, and then Philly was his second game. Or his first game. 5 innings there, 5 Ks. So I don't mind Sonny Gray. I think he's more of your cash option. I think Colin Ray is more of your tournament option. And honestly, none of the bats jump out to me right now at all. So yeah, Sonny Gray, 2 really good starts. He is expensive, 9,500. I do like him though because, Christian Yelich is out of this lineup. You still got to contend with Willy Adames, William Contreras, batters like that. But Sonny Gray, I think he could do that. So paying up for him, I'd rather pay up for Sonny Gray than Tanner Bibby. Still love Aaron Nola at the top, but I think Sonny Gray is where I'd go. Moving to the next game, Marlins at the Cubs. You got Edward Cabrera versus Kyle Hendricks. I am off of Kyle Hendricks. He's looked absolutely bad. I would be looking at Miami. I don't think I'd be looking at Edward Cabrera. We could look at his numbers real quick. 8,700. He had a good start against San Francisco. 27.9 fantasy points. 8,700. The Cubs, the way the Cubs have been hitting, I'm up and down on this one. And then you'll get Kyle Hendricks. He's all the way down here at 6,000 for a reason. Minus 3.7, minus 4.2, 1, minus 4.4. I'm taking the bats in this game. This is just not a game that I want anything to do with pitching-wise. Looking at that, Marlins bats against him, really anyone, but Josh Bell you could look at, Jesus Sanchez, Jazz, Brian De La Cruz. Cheaper bats would be Avisel Garcia, Nick Gordon. You could pay up for Luis Ariz as well. Flip side for the Cubs against Cabrera, if you don't want to pay up for him, Michael Busch has been killing it. Chris Morel, Ian Happ. A cheap option would be Mike Tauchman if he gets in there. It's a Sunday. Miguel Amaya might start. He would be a cheap option. Nico Horner, Cody Bellinger, Dansby. I like this game more for the bats than I do for pitching. Is that the last game on this main slate? That is. Okay. So then we move into the middle slate. 4 games here. Or no, it's the same thing. So then you got your afternoon slate. Mariners at the Rockies is not on this slate for whatever reason, because we don't know which one's going to be which because they have a doubleheader. So then we get into the actual games that are on this slate to end the day. Diamondbacks versus the Giants. Merrill Kelly versus Jordan Hicks. Kelly, 158 plate appearances, 203 batting average. Jordan Hicks, 38 plate appearances, 143. It's a pitcher's park, so I do like that. We look at the numbers. We did use Jordan Hicks his last start. Game log wise was against Miami. 2 earned runs. He only went 5 innings. So that's the problem. The inconsistency with the strikeouts in the innings. I'm probably not taking Jordan Hicks. I'd rather take Arizona bats. I would look at Jock Peterson. I would look at Gurriel Jr., Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll. Depending on who else is out there. Christian Walker would be another one. I don't know if I'd take Christian Walker, but he's on my list there. But Jordan Hicks, just price-wise, I don't think he pitches deep enough into games to make me feel confident about it. Then you got Merrill Kelly. Love him in this matchup. He's had success. Really good start, the first start of the season. And then they've all been about 16, right around there. Strikeouts, the problem is they're right around 5 and 4. He did have a really good one against Colorado at 8 strikeouts, but price-wise, you have to get a little bit creative because, again, you're looking at 3 games, you're looking at 6 pitchers. You aren't using Hauser. I think I'm all the way out on Hauser. Kelly is expensive. I don't mind. Jordan Hicks really isn't going deep into games, so it's basically between Musgrove, Bassett, Paxton, and Kelly. But again, 3 games, you got to get creative. Batting wise, yeah, those are I would look at the Colorado or the Arizona bats. I wouldn't look at Giants at the moment. But again, you never know after 20,000 simulations. Then we jump into the Mets at the Dodgers. You got Adrian Hauser versus James Paxton. Like I said, I don't like Hauser. I'd rather take the Dodgers bats. I'd still look at Betts. I would look at Freeman. You could look at James Outman for a little bit cheaper option, Max Muncy. Paxton is intriguing to me. I just don't know which Paxton we're going to get. As of right now, 2.81 ERA, 2-0 record, only 10 Ks. Three starts, 1 K in his last game, 4 against Minnesota, 5 against San Francisco. I would like this if it were in New York, because Citi Field, I do like it for more pitching, but we'll take what we can get. Paxton-wise against the Mets team, I'm okay with, but if you were thinking about going with some of the Mets bats, I wouldn't put it against you to do that. The ones that you could look at, Starling Marte, Harrison Bader, Lindor, Pete Alonso against the lefty. Those would be the ones I'd look at. You could sprinkle in a little bit of Nimmo or DJ Stewart. You want to go lower, depending on the catcher. Could be Navarez, could be Nido. I just don't know who's going to be in there. And then the Dodger side, it's pretty self-explanatory with the Dodger side. And then the final game for the day, the Blue Jays at the Padres. Chris Bassett versus Joe Musgrove. Bassett, 54 plate appearances, 31.5 K percentage, so the strikeout percentage is there. He's a ground ball pitcher, 216 batting average. Joe Musgrove on the flip side, 69 plate appearances, 258. So we dig into their numbers. We look at these numbers. You've got Bassett here going in, 4.03 ERA. So his ERA is a little bit elevated. 1 earned run against the Yankees, 1 earned run against Seattle, and then his first 2 starts are what elevated his ERA. Tampa Bay, he gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Houston gave up 4 earned runs in that game. Still getting about 5 strikeouts a game. It's kind of what you're looking at. This is a pitcher's park in San Diego, so in that instance, I don't mind Chris Bassett here, as long as he keeps the ball in the ballpark. But you can see the home runs, only 1 per game, except the Yankees. They did not hit 1 against him. So that would be an option there. Flip side of that, Joe Musgrove. Toronto, they're very up and down. Don't know what we're going to get out of him. He really hasn't done much. He's done good against St. Louis. Didn't do very well against Milwaukee. Didn't do good against the Cubs. Didn't do good against San Francisco and got lit up by the Dodgers. So I'm probably off Joe Musgrove. Bats in this game, though, if you weren't going to take either pitcher, we could be looking at either side. So looking at this, Guerrero, Davis Schneider would be a cheaper option. Justin Turner, Alejandro Kirk would be a cheap option, but he might sit today. Dalton Varsho you could look at. Bo Bichette you could look at. George Springer leading the game off. Wouldn't be surprised. Kevin Kiermaier, if he's in there, would be a cheap option. San Diego bats, if you're not going to go with Bassett, Jerickson Profar, Cronenworth, Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr., I think these guys are there. Cheap options, depending who's in there. One of the 2 catchers, either Capusano or Higashioka, whoever's starting for the day, I could see that. Tyler Wade could be a cheap option as a lefty bat there. Jose Ozacar could be another cheap option you look at for San Diego. And there you have it. That's the Sunday slate. That's the breakdown. Those are the pitchers. Those are some of the bats. We've gone over the top 20 bats earlier in the video, so if you missed it, you got to go check that out. But we're going to give you some of the bets that jump out to me right now. And let me know if you use these, if you've had success in the past. These aren't going to work out all the time. These are just, when I see these in the matchups, these are all fantastic matchups for the batter and the odds for home runs. So we're just looking at home runs right now. Pete Alonso at plus 326 against James Paxton. Mitch Garver against Cal Quantrill in one of those doubleheader games at plus 405. You've got Matt Olson, we can't use Atlanta bats. Well, you can if you're playing the single game here. Matt Olson against Lorenzen at plus 421. Acuna against Lorenzen plus 426. Justin Turner against Joe Musgrove plus 426. We're looking at Mookie Betts versus Adrian Hauser plus 438. Vlad against Joe Musgrove plus 462. Yordan against Parker, who Yordan murders lefties this year and career-wise, plus 492. Mike Trout against Frankie Montas in Great American Small Park, as of the making of this video, plus 499. Those are ones that jump out massively. There are other ones that jump out, like Adley Rutschman against Seth Lugo. Somehow, as of now, is plus 953, which is wild. Bo Naylor against Stripling, plus 826. Like, these are massive odds. Seeing if another one jumps out. Soto against Aaron Savale is plus 652. Jose Ramirez against Stripling is plus 706. Like, these are wild. Bobby Witt Jr. against Cole Irvin, lefty on righty matchup, as of right now, is plus 1,150. That would be a massive one because Bobby Witt Jr. can hit home runs. He can also steal bases as well. So that's what I've got in this video. If you found it helpful and useful and you want to have a great Sunday, leave a comment, leave a like. Go check out the website. Go check out the NASCAR content. We'll be usually out by 10 a.m. day of the race. All of that information is out there. Probably have an article out there with some of our top plays. We'll have it all for you. So that's what I've got. Good luck on this slate. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic weekend, whether or not it was just in life or in DFS. Tell us about it. In the description, go to our Discord channel. Let us know. So that's what I've got. Good luck. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.